Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the new Rome Trace Pro binding. That's right, they upgraded the Trace with a Pro version. I rode this binding at Copper Mountain on a day that was sunny, bluebird, you had slightly above average temps, chopped chunder, perfect creamy corduroy, soft corduroy, firm fast corduroy, and a little bit of crusty pow left over for good measure, and I rode it on my Ride Shadow Band snowboard with my K2 Thraxis boots. While these aren't the most adjustable Rome binding out there, you do have a few options. So on the heel cup, where the screws are that hold the heel strap, if you loosen that up, you can slide the heel cup in or out to lengthen or shorten it to fit your boot. Also on that screw is your kinked straps. So if you want those to sit a little lower or higher, you can flip them to the other one. Little lower, little more surfy, little high, little bit more precision based. Then going to the heel and the toe strap, you do have that flip tab. So you pop it up, slide them in, slide them out, depending on how you need to lengthen them to fit your boot and be centered over it. You also have a push pin system on the toe, so you can push it down, slide it back, slide it forward, pull it up. The Highback also has forward lean adjustment on that, so if you need to get a little more angle. And finally, the foot pad can be slid a little bit forward or backwards underneath the boot, depending on where you need it. When it comes to the heel strap, you have the Pro Flex Oxtec strap, so that Oxtec basically gets a little stronger the tighter you crank it down. It does not have any excess padding in it. So what this is gonna do is mold over your instep and really crank down. All the padding is gonna be provided from the boot. This is the softer of the Oxtec straps that they have, so this will have a little bit more give to it. The toe strap, also Oxtec. This has a huge cutout. This will fit over a multitude of boot shapes, from pointy and stubby to big and blunt. One thing to note, if you ride over 100 days, that Oxtec in the toe strap may start to crack on you. I've had 3 blow out on me, but none with under 100 days. Rome knows how to make ratchets. That one finger quick release works amazing. They climb exceptionally well. These are very well built ratchets. There is next to no play in them. They are just super, super solid. They work, they climb well. They never prematurely release. I've been riding Rome bindings now forever, and I can tell you that they work great. You like this video, don't you? So why don't you give it a thumbs up, you know you want to. While you're down there, maybe you should consider subscribing, clicking the bell, getting those notifications. You know you want to. Or you don't. Who am I to tell you what to do? It's a Highback. It does Highback things. You're gonna notice that it is a little more rigid for the size and the type of binding that this is, but it's not overly stiff. The forward lean adjustment works easy. You flip it up, you slide it down, you slide it up, you lock it back into place. It just works. Out of the box, you're gonna notice that these look like they have a slight Highback rotation to make them parallel to the heel edge, and well, they probably do. I didn't really notice it because it's not overly exaggerated, but it is there because in the customization, can't really rotate them. As I said, it's a Highback, it does Highback things. The cool thing about the Trace Pro compared to the regular Trace is that you get the kinked ladders on the heel strap. This allows you to have 2 positions to put it in. If you have it in the lower position, it's a little more surfy and loose, and if you have it in the higher position, it's a little more precision based. This will change how it flexes. I ran them in the upper position because that's how I like them. That's more precision based, so it's a little bit more stiffer. If you run it in the lower position, as it's more soft and surfy and loose, it's obviously going to flex more. Overall, the flex for this binding comes in at about a middle of the road. You do get some lateral play, not as much as other bindings. You do have a medium disc in there, but it's one of those kind of meat and potatoes chassis where you like get into it and you're like, okay, this is gonna work. It's not revolutionary, it just gets the job done. This binding is actually fairly damp for what it is. That foot pad does a good job of dissipating any of that kinetic energy that comes up. If you get into really frozen, rutted out death cookies that are just kind of like riding on ball bearings, yeah, you're gonna feel it underfoot. It's not as playful of a binding as, say, their ASIM or full wrap binding. It's kind of just uniform with how it feels and it flexes. but it works. Is it the most damp binding out there? No. Is it good for being this type of chassis? Yes. Rider in mind. So who's this binding for? The do-everything rider that just wants one binding with minimal adjustability, but with some options so they can dial it in that will be able to go anywhere and do anything. All right, well, if you like what we're doing over here, you want to support us further because, well, we need your support, why don't you swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member? Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. It's a good binding, but does it need to exist? No. Take a regular trace, put some kinked straps on the heel. That way you got that adjustability, and swap out the toe strap to the aux tech, and boom, it's the same binding basically. At the end of the day, you look at it and go, you just added another price point that didn't really need to exist. People should just be able to buy the parts and upgrade it themselves. If more companies would make a more modular binding like that, where you could just be like, oh, I'm just gonna order this part, this part, this part, and this part off their website, you'd probably do better. That's what I would do with it, at least. Then again, I'm not like most people. I customize my shit. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. Comparable bindings, the Fix RB1, the Nitro Rambler, the Ride C6. This has been my review of the Roam Trace Pro. If you're buying a pair and you need to know how to set them up and really dial in all the adjustments, I've got a video for you, so you should go watch that.